Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin. This is a special edition of Life, Liberty, and Levin. And if you care about your country, your liberty, and the nature of your government, you'll watch this program throughout the full course of the hour. It's very, very important. I want to go back to the beginning. On March 2nd, 2017, I got behind the microphone on my radio show after spending an hour pulling together various articles, and something had occurred to me. The Obama administration, and subsequently the FBI and other entities in the federal government, were sabotaging the new president of the United States. And then as I looked further, I realized they had been sabotaging candidate Trump and then President-elect Trump. And I went through it on March 2nd, and all hell broke loose. Then on March 5th, I appeared on Fox and Friends Sunday with Pete Hegseth, and I went through the various exhibits that I had found, and there were more, to lay out the case further of the coup, the massive spying and leaking that had taken place in the Obama administration against Trump world. And we shouldn't be surprised by this. We have since learned that the Obama administration put spies in the Trump campaign, leaked incessantly to the press, the unmasking, which we'll get to later, 39 individuals involved in unmasking, Mike Flynn, unbelievable. The fraud committed against the FISA court, falsified documents, and on and on and on. But the mindset of the Obama administration was always about using clandestine and other activities, illegal activities, against their perceived opponents. There's a great piece in National Review last week by David Harsanyi, and he points out, among other things, by 2016, the Obama administration's intelligence community had normalized domestic spying. Obama's Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, famously lied about snooping on American citizens to Congress. His CIA Director, John Brennan, oversaw an agency that felt comfortable spying on the United States Senate, with at least 5 of his underlings breaking into congressional computer files. His Attorney General, Eric Holder, invoked the Espionage Act to spy on a Fox News journalist, James Rosen, shopping his case to 3 judges until he found one who let him name the reporter as a co-conspirator. The Obama administration also spied on the Associated Press reporters with a news organization called a massive and unprecedented intrusion. And I might add, they also spied on James Risen, a New York Times reporter. And though it's been long forgotten, Obama officials were caught monitoring the conversations of members of Congress who opposed the Iran nuclear deal. And I would add, the use of the IRS against the Tea Party and conservative organizations, and the list goes on and on and on. The most lawless administration in modern history was the Obama-Biden administration. Now, with that context, I want to remind you of what took place here, right on Fox News, March 5th, 2017, Sunday, on Fox and Friends, as we go through the context of what's happening today. Go.
You laid out a devastating case about executive overreach of the Obama administration, which many believe metamorphosized itself to tweets that President Trump sent out on Saturday morning accusing potential wiretapping in Trump Tower. We want to give you a case here this morning to lay out what you know about it, and the evidence you have for the potential executive overreach of the Obama administration.
Well, pleasure to be here. The evidence is overwhelming. This is not about President Trump's tweeting. This is about the Obama administration's spying. And the question isn't whether it's spied. We know they went to the FISA court twice. The question is, who did they spy on? The extent of the spying. All right, let's stop here. I want to remind you folks, all I had was public reports that I had pulled together. No inside information whatsoever. Go. That is, the Trump campaign, the Trump transition, Trump surrogates. And I want to walk you through this, the American people. Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1. This is all public. Head Street. 2 separate sources with links to the counterintelligence community have confirmed that the FBI sought and was granted a Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act court. This is spying. In October, giving counterintelligence permission to examine the activity of, quote, U.S. persons in Donald Trump's campaign with ties to Russia. Let me go on. This isn't me. They say the first FISA request, sources say, named Trump, was denied back in June, denied by the court. But the second was drawn more narrowly and was granted in October after evidence was presented of a server possibly related to the Trump campaign and its alleged links to 2 banks. Now, Sources suggest that a FISA warrant was granted to look at the full content of emails and other related documents that may concern U.S. persons. Now, I know people are hung up with Trump's word wiretapping. Well, how'd they get access to this server information? Does it really matter if it was wiretapping, electronic surveillance, or whatever it was? Now, remember, ladies and gentlemen, remember, I'm just basing it on the information that's in the public record. But I knew, as a former chief of staff to the Attorney General of the United States in the Reagan administration, Ed Meese, these leaks were serious. They were close enough to the target. Obviously, I couldn't verify it, but the reporters went with it. And I knew they had to be coming out of the FBI or some intelligence agency or all of them. Go. Exhibit 2, The Guardian, a well-known right-wing British paper. Here it is. Quote, The Guardian has learned the FBI applied for a warrant from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court over the summer in order to monitor 4 members of the Trump team suspected of irregular contacts with Russian officials. Keep in mind, this is during a presidential election. The sitting president, the incumbent party, is now investigating the presidential candidate of the Republican Party and his campaign to some extent. The FISA court turned down the application asking FBI counterintelligence investigators to narrow its focus. According to one report, the FBI was finally granted a warrant in October. Folks, you can see right here at the beginning, I'm laying out the information that I found. Some of it's right on, some of it's a little sketchy, but most of it's right on, and the gist is certainly right on. They went to the FISA court and they got a warrant. We now know they went there 4 times and got a warrant. We also now know that they lied. The Inspector General's report indicates that. A document was falsified by an FBI lawyer. Leaks about this FISA application were throughout the media, and I was attacked after this. Do I have any proof that they actually went to the FISA court and so forth? The point of this, and the point of this program this evening, is to show you the full extent of the Obama administration's activity in this. These aren't a few one-off rogue FBI agents. This is a ubiquitous activity throughout the government. And furthermore, it is a ubiquitous activity, aid and comfort given by the media to promote this lie about the Russia collusion issue. Go. Exhibit 3, McClatchy, another well-known right-wing newspaper. Here they have the agencies. Headline, FBI, 5 other agencies, 5 other Obama administration agencies probe possible covert Kremlin aid to Trump. The FBI and 5 other law enforcement intelligence agencies have collaborated for months in an investigation into Russian attempts to influence the November election, including whether money from Kremlin covertly aided presidential-elect Donald Trump. 2 people familiar with the matter said the agencies involved in the inquiry are the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, the Justice Department, the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and representatives of the Director of the National Intelligence. Are you telling me Barack Obama didn't know what was going on in 6 agencies?
As you go on, how are you? Okay, keep going.
I'm not done. I need to make the case. Because the media seems to be confused about their own reporting. New York Times, another well-known liberal outlet, intercepted Russian communications, part of inquiry into Trump associates, January 19. The FBI is leading the investigations, aided by the NSA, the CIA, Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Unit. The investigators have accelerated their efforts in recent weeks, but have found no conclusive evidence of wrongdoing. Listen to this. One official said intelligence reports based on some of the wiretap communications have been provided to the White House. January 19th. So the leaking before Obama leaves office is enormous, to the New York Times, to the Washington Post, to British newspapers, to websites and so forth. The word has gone out. Push out this narrative of Russia collusion. Push it up. Cripple the incoming president of the United States. Create this cloud over his head so when he comes into office, he will be viewed as a Russian puppet. And we now know, of course, as a result of the Mueller investigation, as well as the release of information the other week out of the director of the National Intelligence, none of them believed it for a minute that there was any Russia collusion. But look what's taking place here. While I'm talking about this, on March 5th, 2017, the first one to go on national TV and lay all this out, We already know they had put spies in the Trump campaign. We already know they had gone to the FISA court in October. We already know that the dossier was phony, had been paid for by the Democrat National Committee in the Hillary Clinton campaign. We already know, today we know, that all these activities were taking place before this January 5th meeting, which I'll get to in a moment. Go.
New York Times again. NSA gets more latitude to share intercepted communications. In the final days of the Obama administration, the administration has expanded the power of the NSA to share globally intercepted personal communications with the government's 16 other intelligence agencies before applying privacy protections. Now, why would they do this on the way out the door? Well, March 1, Exhibit 6, Obama administration rushed to preserve intelligence of Russian election hacking. In the Obama administration's last days, listen to this, some White House officials scrambled to spread information about Russian efforts to undermine the presidential election and about possible contacts between associates of President-elect Trump and Russians across the government.
Now let's stop there. That's two major stories from two major news outlets that point the finger at the White House. Two, information going to the White House, information coming from the White House. Two major stories. You see, ladies and gentlemen, Barack Obama not only knew about this, he obviously gave the go-ahead, even in general terms. You don't have the FBI, the CIA, the DNC, the State Department, the Treasury Department, the NSA, and all the rest of it. You don't have such a full administration-wide activity to destroy a candidate, destroy a president-elect, and then to destroy a president, all Donald Trump and everybody around him.